I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Man, oh man. Man, oh man. This is a emergency live stream. I am not prepared to even talk to y'all today. Thus, you're just going to get my beautiful face on the screen and not an actual video. We're not ready. We weren't set up. The room's a mess. But holy cow. It's one thing to continue to be the masters of. I mean, we might as well call Mike Doctor Strange at this point, the master of the portal. You know, it's one thing to be that, which we continue to be with another great get with South Carolina defensive end, 6'5", 250. Love the size, love all of that. You know, so it's one thing to get Edmond. After reports was that he was leaning towards LSU. I think he spent 3 days in Baton Rouge this past weekend, and all signs was that this man was going to LSU, play for the Tigers, a team that's also loading up in the portal. If you haven't been paying attention, you know, so that was a good battle. But, you know, we've said it before. Once Mike gets his eyes on a guy in a portal, they don't miss. That defensive end rotation is looking pretty nasty. You got 6'4", 250-pound Jared Verse, 6'5", 240-pound Patrick Payton. Now you bring Edmond. D-Mac kind of gets pushed down a little bit on that depth chart, I think. It's probably still the fourth man in that rotation, barring a certain somebody that may or may not ever hit the portal. I mean, you know, we'll see, right? We'll see. But what just happened, if you're not paying attention, what just transpired over the past hour was not something I saw coming. I don't think it's a name that anybody had out there. I don't think it's, we threw the likes of, you know, Cromartie, you know, Antonio Cromartie, former Knoll, Greg Reed, former Knoll, possibly promoting from within, Ratliff, Kewan Ratliff, Corey Fuller, you know, those are the names, right? And people were mentioning other names, like a guy from Clemson, I forget his name, or a guy from here, or a guy from there. You mean the guy? We just pulled all-pro, former Pro Bowl corner, former coach at American Heritage, Patrick Surtain Sr. Son went to Bama, plays for the Denver Broncos. He currently was working for the Miami Dolphins and will join the team after the Miami Dolphins playoff run. So we're bringing a guy with South Florida, elite South Florida ties at one of the elite South Florida high schools. NFL level development. NFL level development. Someone pinch me. Someone pinch me. Let me get to this super chat, man. Jeff in the building says, "Go Noles, sounds like a good hire." Sounds like a good hire is an understatement, Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
NFL ties. Crazy Florida, South Florida ties. Let me just make an assessment here. You know, and this is a long shot. Marvin Jones Jr. hits the portal. Who do we think's recruiting him? Maybe the former head coach at American Heritage. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Remember what I told y'all. And I don't know how long I'm gonna be on tonight. Because we're just gonna rant. But in the positive way. Remember what I told y'all? They might not have to tell no more lies, guys. I don't know if we're telling. Listen, the roster is already shaking out to be a lot deeper, a lot stronger than last year. Okay? Regardless of what position we talking. When Verse or Peyton wasn't in the game, defensive end took a hit. I don't know if that's going to be the case this season. I don't know if that's going to be the case. When Fabian Lovett had to go off the field, I don't know if that's going to be the case this season. So the roster's already shaking out to be deep, bigger, faster, stronger, as we always say. Now you're telling me we adding, people got on to me. People didn't like that I criticized the way we finished on National Signing Day, or early signing period. Sorry. People thought I overreacted. Yeah, a lot of people didn't agree with my stance on that. And then, it didn't help that the guy that I thought we lost in Conrad Hussey actually ended up, coming. You feel me? So, people didn't like it, my stance there. But it's pretty obvious the coaching staff understood what. Not saying they were necessarily listening to me, but I think the coaching staff understood their shortcomings. Pretty obvious the coaching staff understood their shortcomings. Because if they didn't, I don't know if Surtain's this type of hire. This is huge, Florida State fans. You should, let me tell you, disclaimer, and we will get the normal hangover tomorrow. But I'll put this. I was gonna save this disclaimer for Wednesday, but we're gonna put this disclaimer out right now. If you scared, don't come here. Don't come to 863 Seminole TV. Take your ass to church. Ain't no scared. Ain't no tippy-toeing around this offseason. If you ready for the full hype train, well, you're at the right place because we are driving the train until the rails fall off. I promise you. None of that 7-6 wins is going to be a good. No, we're not doing that this year. Y'all did it last year, even though I told y'all there was a standard and we set the standard and they met the standard and they set the bar. We're not doing that this year. I promise you. Not over here, we're not. And I ain't having it. Don't come in here talking about some, 8-win seasons. No. This team is preparing. This program is preparing to put it all in. If this is a high-stake poker game, we're going all in next year, folks. Everything they've done with the roster shows they're going all in. Now with this coaching staff, we're going all in. We're driving a hype train over here. We're not pussyfooting around. Sorry, I promise you, we're not doing it. And I'm not going to stand for that setting the bar low because y'all are scared. The coach that you're supposed to have so much faith in, y'all, no, we're not doing it. I see the vision, Mike. I'm with you. I'm on your side. You doing, like I said, you answered every question I had for you coming into the third year. You answered them. I ain't got no more criticisms. Now, don't get me wrong. Game in and game out, you can always find something to criticize any coach about. Hell, Nick Saban gets criticized from time to time. Critiques and criticisms, it comes with the part of the game. But the vision, I think the vision is coming. And it's kind of crystal clear at this point. If I said 9 wins this past season, what the hell you think I'm about to tell y'all this year? Is Florida State not bringing back the best quarterback in the ACC, if not the best, the second best. It's between Travis and Drake May. I'll take Travis. Florida State probably not bringing back the best running back room. What about one of the top receiving cores? One of the best O-lines? The FSU not add one of the top DBs in the entire country to its roster? What about one of the top defensive tackles in the entire country to its roster? What are we scared of? If you're scared, take your ass to church. Because ain't nothing to be scared of. Pinch me. Pinch me, people. Pinch me. This isn't hype. This isn't just hype. It is, obviously it's hype. But there's substance behind everything that's going on right now. You can see it. This isn't, shots fired on this. This isn't, the prodigal son returns. So just because he's a Miami native, he's coming back and saving the program. That's hype with no substance behind it besides a below 500 or 500 record as a head coach. That's hype. Shots fired. I don't care. This isn't hype. This is substance. This is real. Cypress was an All-American caliber defensive back. That's real. Fisk was an All-American caliber defensive tackle. That's real. Byers, one of the top 5 graded offensive linemen in the country. That's these are real things, not hype. Jeff with another one. This time a $20 dono. Shout out to Jeff. He says, Mike trying to build a championship, and I think he's making some smart moves in his coaching staff. Now for recruiting to move forward.
My name is Jeff.
I got another one for you. Since I threw some shots, I got some more shots.
Bitch, be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Bitch, sit down.
Shout out to Tyler with the $5. Shout out to Norvell Fuller and Mike Alfred. I'm glad you put that in all caps, Tyler. We're on the same page. This is no knock on Mike Norvell because Mike got us. But that other Mike got us too. The boss got us. Mike Alford got us. Everything from your NIL collective all of a sudden. We went from being broke boys to now we tampering with every team in the country. You notice how the narratives changed? We was broke to now we tampering. South Carolina's became a feeder school. They might as well be FSU's minor league development program. Now we tampering, bringing everybody back. You think Mike Alford ain't got nothing to do with this stuff? You think we get Surtain if Mike Alford ain't the head? Come on, man. Mike Alford got us. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Tyler.
Clickety clank, clickety clank. The money goes into my piggy bank.
I'm on one because it's the truth. I'm not speaking y'all no lies tonight. There's no lies that need to be told. Just hit the like button. Absolutely. What's up, Insane? Like I said, this is more than just hype. Of course we hyped. And of course, Surtain's gonna have some things to prove at the college level. I don't think he's never coached at the college level. So he might have some things to prove. He's probably got some things to prove. Can he recruit the high school player? But let's be honest, at a place like American Heritage, they're already recruiting high school players to play there. So this notion that we don't know if he can, you know how the rival fans do it. They're already on Twitter trying to spin it. Man, y'all don't even know if this man can recruit. So you trying to tell me the coach at American Heritage don't have to recruit? Y'all must not know anything about Florida football. Y'all must not know anything about South Florida football. They do as much recruiting in high school as they do at the college level. Come on, man. Come on. Tim in the building. But Mike Alford fired Mike Martin Jr. and hired Jarrett. I say Alford. We said it then. I talked about that then. I said I said Mike Alford put everybody on notice when you fire Mike Martin Jr. And then not only did you fire Mike Martin Jr., you went and got the number one guy that was the target. You went and got him. No questions asked. We knew then, or at least I did, because we talked about it here, that we had a real one in Mike Alford. If they don't, they better start. Believe in the program. Expectations are going to be out the roof. What's up, Peter? I'm telling you, if the rumors are true and he hits the portal, guys, come on. I do not, but I've heard the name pop up a lot all of a sudden. But no, I don't personally. But at this point, at the rate this offseason's going, I don't know if anything would surprise me at this point. And it's only January, folks. It's only January. Duval knows good. I'll forgive him, Mike Norvell, all he needs to go out there and compete for Natty. Resources. Leicester. There's more on the books than just Leicester, though. But yeah, no, y'all are right. Charles Leicester III. Even if this first college coaching job with defensive backs, he's still better than Woodson. I mean, absolutely. No question for me. $11 win for FSU in 2023. That means you got us losing one, but I ain't mad at it. 10 wins at a minimum. 10 wins would be considered I don't want to say a bad season. Anytime you win 10 wins, it's not a bad season, right? You can make the case for Florida State. 10 wins might not be the best season just by the way things are playing out in this offseason. Now, no one's ever won a national championship in the offseason, and I get all of that. But damn it, we're going to have this moment. ML 1219. I believe that's formerly known as Marcus in the building with the $3 donation.
Yeah, get more money. Yeah, get more money.
Louisville did get the top, one of the top linebackers out of South Florida. What happened, Miami fans? Yeah, I'm on one. What happened to putting a fence around South Florida? Well, that fence just got tore down another rung with the hire of Surtain. If Louisville can go in your backyard, well, good damn. And good luck. Shock the world, Dion. Shock Miami. Go Greg Cromartie. Now, if you want to really start hitting the big boys, go get me Crow and Reed. Man, exactly. That's when you start making big time. You got the on-field coach. You got can you get Crow and Reed to be your off-field coaches, your analysts, whatever the case may be? That's how you make moves. Kendrick Ross with a $10 donation. Appreciate you, Kendrick. He says, yo, what up, Pope? When the news came out about Surtain, I checked to see if he was going to go live. Didn't plan on it, but I mean, how can I not? Edmund himself was a big enough surprise because the world had said he was going to LSU, and then he surprised everybody. I thought that was a big enough surprise, but I was going to I can save that for Wednesday. I didn't expect this, and I don't know anybody that did. Nobody in the know, and y'all can't see me quoting the air right now because I don't have a camera on, but nobody in the know even rumored Pat Surtain. And yet here we are. Shout out to Kendrick, man, with the $10.
Yeah, more money, more money. Yeah, more money, more money. Yeah.
11-year pro with 37 interceptions is all I needed to see in Surtain to say he's a development cornerbacks and our secondary. Yeah, if you're not paying attention, Florida's NIL is in shambles. The program's in shambles. The fans are in shambles. Rashada apparently is having second thoughts because he ain't getting paid what he thought he was supposed to get paid. Keep doing your thing, Billy. We love you over here. Back number 1 in the portal. Now this hire today is a good day. Still want Crow and Tally. I'm with you. I still want Crow and Tally. Absolutely. Don't disagree with you at all. We want Georgia. Don't let the 65 point. Georgia, shout out to Georgia. National champs. Got to give them their props. Dominating performance in the national championship. Don't let the 65 points fool you, though. There's a handful. There's probably more than a handful of teams that would have did better than 7 points and let you put up 65. But shout out to Georgia, man. Back to back. You could never downplay back to back. You could never downplay back to back. You don't have to imagine it, though. That's the beauty of this. What are we imagining for? It's going to happen. You're going to see that next year. That's right. You're going to see Akeem Dent, Cypress, AZ, Ronaldo, all those names. Not to mention Hussey, Quindarius Jones, Kirkland, Raw. Yeah, that's what you're going to see. Being coached by Patrick Surtain. Did Marvin Jones Jr. play any last night? Great question. I honestly turned the game off. So I don't know. I knew about 5 minutes into this, and I even tweeted like 5 minutes into the game. I was like, yeah, this is it. This isn't going to end well. Did I foresee 65 points? Heck no. But no, I turned the game off. Somebody else answer that question if you know. Did Marvin Jones Jr. play any last night? I have no clue because I stopped watching. But shout out to you, William, for the $2 donation. Okay, Marvin Jones played in the 4th. Sam says, I think they kept it under wraps. Obviously, they've been working on it. But Surtain's name wasn't mentioned to my understanding. That obviously they did a great job keeping that thing silent. Hypothetically speaking, what would have been the score if we played? I don't know. It wouldn't have been 65-7. Georgia does some things that we would have struggled with, mainly Brock Bowers. Yeah, we can't cover Oklahoma's tight end. We can't cover Brock Bowers. So he would have probably killed us as well. We would have been able to at least compete better in the line of scrimmage on certain things. Travis would have been much more of an effective player than Duggins ended up being. I'm not saying we would have beat Georgia by any stretch, but damn it, they wouldn't have scored 65, and we would have scored more than 7. They can keep them. Because I watched Miami's DB play last year. Matter of fact, go watch the FSU game. Yeah, y'all can have DVD. He better hope he gets Cromartie because that recruitment's not really looking too hot right now. Over or under 2 5-stars landed in the 2024 cycle? Great question, Nick. History on this staff says the answer to that is under. With the relationships they're building, I kind of want to say, I kind of want to stop. I kind of want to just break even on this and say that they land 2. I think landing 2 would be amazing. Anything more was, that's tough to predict. You guys answer Nick's question if you want to. Over or under 2 5-stars landed in the 2024 cycle. EMG was good. MJ, okay, so they say Marvin Jones played with about 5 minutes left. He got some garbage snaps. Payback to Clemson. We're going to get that orange pussycat. Just to think, most of the fan base was ready to jump off the cliff last season. Now, hey, absolutely. I mean, 5-7, 0-4 to start off with to do that to you. Jacksonville State to do that to you, right, Brandon? I ain't gonna sit here and pretend like I wasn't one of them. Hell, when we missed on them this time last year, it was a little later than this time, but off season last year when we missed on Mims, I was about done. To be honest with you, I was about done with this coaching staff when we missed on Mims a second time around. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I've always been a vouch Mike Norvell supporter. I've never once asked for his job, but I had plenty of criticisms. Mims was almost the last straw for me. And even with that, I still came back in the beginning of the season and said, you know what? 9 wins. And we got 9 wins. Now, it's almost like Mike can do no wrong. Easily the worst national championship game of all time. They're saying 11-1 losing to Clemson. Here's the thing. Newsflash. We're going to play Clemson twice next year. So if we're going to lose to them, I'd rather lose to them early and beat them in the ACC championship. Absolutely, Tyler. Absolutely. Wasn't from the jump. You were like, uh-oh, this is different. The one thing about Ohio State recruits at the clip that they can hang with Georgia in the trenches. There's some things that happened in that game. Marvin Harrison Jr. getting hurt that ended up hurting Ohio State. But Ohio State, athlete for athlete, could hang with Georgia. You saw early TCU wasn't even in the same area code, state, let alone on the same field. Loading saying over 2 5-stars, over. Loading saying 3 5-stars. Marcus says 2 over 2. Equal. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm on. I think we get 2 5-stars. FSU Spain now that Surtain is in line to be our next DC after Fuller leaves. FSU Twitter has been trying to push Adam Fuller out the door from day one, even after this year. So I don't know how true that is, but whatever. I will say that it makes a little bit of sense, though. Because if Adam another defensive season like he did this year, from just numbers wise, he will be looked at to be a coach somewhere. And I'm pretty sure Adam Fuller has a desire to be a head coach. He's not exactly young after all. It would make sense that if Surtain to leave the NFL job would be told something like that. So it makes sense on the surface. But again, it's FSU Twitter. Take it with a grain of salt. They've been trying to push Adam Fuller out the door from the jump. So Cool Breeze says under until I see it. Push at best. I'm with you with the push, man. 2 5-stars from Peter as well. Imagine Cromartie pull a WTF on everybody and say I'm gonna play for Pat. That would be crazy, but I don't foresee it. Timmy thinks over LSU. Of course, LSU can be beat. We did it last year. What they do, Polk. What up, VJ? Insane thinks they were getting over to 2 5-stars. I'm saying 11-1 because we feel we're going to skip one, either at Clemson or upset somewhere. Pitt could be a tough game, but upset can definitely always happen. I just think that with the Clemson thing, you got to lose to them early. I don't want to lose to them in not the Natty, but the ACC championship. Who's taking place of work? Man, pick a running back. Y'all think we could snag Bolden? Bolden who? Who are we talking about? Oh, hell, here we go. I say we land 4 or 5 5-stars, but once they commit to Florida State, they drop the 4-star. Okay, Rock, I see what you're trying to say. Everybody's saying Michigan has to be feeling sick. OSU has got to be. OSU is the team that really should be feeling sick because the national championship was Georgia, OSU. Michigan chose a hell of a time to play their worst game of the season. Obviously, Michigan played their worst game of the season against TCU. Obviously, because I don't believe Georgia would have did that to Michigan either. The sad part is the national media. So here's the thing. This is sad, and I'm Twitter disclaimer. Another one. If you're not on FSU Twitter, you should get on it. To me, it's just pure entertainment. Personally, that's why I'm on it. But I don't take anything on there serious because FSU Twitter, the same guys and gals on FSU Twitter who cried for the last 2-3 years about standard. FSU has a standard in recruiting. In the 20s isn't good enough. Okay. Winning 5 games isn't good enough. Absolutely. There's a standard. Now all of a sudden, national media is on the FSU hype train. The top 10, way too early top 10 polls like FSU. I seen FSU as high as 3, 4, 6. Guess what those same FSU fans that were crying about standards are talking about? Wait a minute now, we're too high, man. Y'all, come on, man, be real. I thought it was a standard. I thought that was the FSU standard. Now all of a sudden, it's too high? Again, disclaimer, again. If you're scared, go to church over here. Because we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We riding the hype train all off season. And it's just starting in January. Get ready. Hey, bro, just thought I would drop in a chat, let you see what a champion looks like. Go Dogs. Congratulations to the Dogs. That's always tough, right? But I mean, I don't even care to. What did FSU finish in offense this year? They had a top 10 offense this year. FSU was the only team in the country to finish like in the top 10 or 15 in both offense and defense. Give me a top 5, man. Give me top 5 offense. KJ Bolden, isn't he already committed to Bama? Or am I thinking about somebody else? Is that for the 2024 class? I could be thinking about somebody else. Reading comments. That's why I got quiet, guys. Just reading comments. Panama says, I got to read this comment. Our hype is different than the UM hype because we've established program with consistency and don't plan to bring another head coach like UM did with Mario Cristobal. I can see top 10, but not sure. Let me address that even. I'll address the preseason rankings even more because newsflash, guys, I hate the preseason rankings. If you've been listening to me anything longer than a day, you know I despise preseason rankings. I think they are pointless. I think they are useless. They're biased. Teams should not get ranked until 3 or 4 games get played, in my humble opinion. So I don't care where, me personally, I don't care where FSU's ranked in the preseason. For optics wise, FSU and LSU will be a top 10 matchup. Will be a top 10 matchup next year. And that's great to see from a prospect standpoint, prime time, big game, top 10. That's what you want. But I could care less about preseason rankings, guys. If we do what we're supposed to do, we'll be exactly ranked where we're supposed to be. Just like I said this year. Go back and listen to when we were 4-0 and everybody was crying that we weren't ranked. And I said, if you do what you're supposed to do, you'll get there. Well, guess where FSU finished? Top 10. I think the USA Today poll, one poll had us number 11, right there in the top 11, top 10. You do what you're supposed to do, you end up ranked where you're supposed to be ranked. Don't care about preseason polls. That's just me, though. Yeah, exactly, sir. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. Everybody was talking about a standard. Now we on the verge of the standard or have met the standard or whatever you want to say we're doing. And now it's wait a minute. Some of these fans you can't please. Some of them ain't really fans. I wholeheartedly believe that. We know there's still a lingering effect for some of these fans of previous regimes. Yeah, I'm just going to call it how I see it. Who never wanted Mike to succeed and somehow continue to find a fault no matter what goes on. The spring game's gonna be hyped. Spring game's gonna be absolutely hyped up. Y'all already know I'll be doing a watch along. Like I do every year. We will be watching the spring game together. I remember that, VJ. We had the conversation here. Everybody was crying that at 4-0 we weren't ranked. And to me, it didn't matter. Because I knew if you lost games, what did I say? You're at 4-0, but if you lose the next 3 games, you're not going to be ranked anyway. Now, we did go on to lose the next 3 games, but we still took care of business, finished the season strong. Look what happened. Jeff says, I don't care where we start in the preseason polls or nothing. All I care about is where we finish. The playoff rankings. Those are the only rankings that matter, by the way. The playoff rankings. And I'm with you, Jeff, whole 100%.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyler. If we're gonna do a quick critique right now, and people will take this and say you hate Mike Norvell, he can't do nothing right. I don't want the BS celebrity coaching game we've been doing the past couple years. I don't want none of that. Where they let the scout team players basically play, and they let who was it last year that was calling plays? I forget. Wasn't it old girl that used to cover FSU back in the day? When Jameis was here, Andrea Adelson or whatever, I think they let her call plays, and I forget who the other person was. Yeah, I don't want to see any of that. Give me 4 quarters of spring football. Give me 4 quarters of spring football. None of the games. Don't want none of that. Is there breaking news? You have a new DB coach, Jonathan McIntosh. And you have a new defensive end. Talked about both of those guys. I've already addressed the high school recruiting. That's and like I said, that's what Mike Norvell just did with the hire of Patrick Surtain. Again, you guys can criticize me because I still don't think high school recruiting is where it needed to be. And I think you got to have a great mix of it. I love what we're doing in the portal. I'm one of the biggest supporters of the portal. I still think you got to mix in solid high school recruiting behind it. Obviously, they did too because they went out and got Patrick Surtain. Obviously, they did too. No, I just don't feel like turning it on. This is the last minute emergency stuff. I wish they would make the spring game just a little more exciting than what they usually do. Not a fan of the stuff they were doing the last couple years in it. Though I do understand why they did some of that stuff. And I think depth being one of those reasons. I do think depth being one of those reasons. We talked about it this year. As good as Florida State looked, what did we continue to say? Man, there's still some players off. They're still 4 or 5 players away. Because when certain guys are out of the, when Fabo goes down, the D line is drastically worse, right? Tatum Bethune goes down, your linebacking core takes it, right? So we knew that depth was an issue, and I do think it's why they do some of those weird things in the spring game because you don't want to risk injury if you don't have to. I absolutely understand that. Depth should not be an issue this upcoming year. Well, we're going to find out. Man, I wish we could hear what Coach Norvell is telling these transfer portal guys. Now we get in depth pieces. Did anyone have Surtain? No. No. That's what's so, in my opinion, crazy about this hire. Is that the name wasn't even rumored, wasn't whispered. We talked about the names that everybody was bringing up. The Crows, the Reeds, and then I forget some of the other names. A guy from Clemson and some of these other guys. I think a Pitt DB coach was in it. There were names. DVD was the hot name for the last few days. DVD was the hot name, but people was like, there's some serious smoke with DVD in Florida State. This came out of nowhere. Chris Robinson with the $20 dono. What up, Pope? Orlando on the check, and we bike. We are bike.
I'm in Tallahassee, I'm with the Seminoles. I've been getting to this paper, focus on my goals. Trying to run this money up and pull up in a row. All this talking gangster, that shit getting old.
No. Think Marvin Jones Jr. Has a high ceiling. He's done nothing to prove that he deserves snaps over Verse or Patrick Payton. But if I'll say this, you land Marvin Jones Jr., D-Mac might want to hit that portal because his snaps, I already think his snaps take a dip with the acquisition of Edmond. You get Marvin Jones Jr., D-Mac might as well go ahead and, I mean, no offense. Last stream, y'all were killing D-Mac in the comments. When Chris from Sporadics was on here, y'all were killing D-Macs in the comments on Saturday night. Well, what do you think happens if you sign Marvin Jones Jr.? If it was up to me, the season would start tomorrow. That's what they're saying apparently in the spaces. Obviously, I'm not listening to the spaces because I'm on here with y'all. But apparently that's what they're saying in the spaces. No, I'm just light-skinned dude on YouTube. I don't know nothing. I don't report nothing. I just commentate, speculate, and give my unbiased opinion on the Florida State Seminoles. Over here on 863 Seminole TV. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Share the video. But that's all we do over here. That's all we do over here. Surtain wasn't even a name that was mentioned, and all of a sudden he's the future DC. It's kind of crazy how that works. but everybody knows somebody, and everybody's got a plug, and everybody's got sources. So take from that what you will. I wanted to get McDaniels right. I remember, you was the one that mentioned McDaniels from Clemson. Of course not complaining. Again, that's what I'm just saying. Like, there was a bunch of names out there, but this one never surfaced. I think we need to get one more ace recruiter on this team, and it comes from tight end position. Hey, you already know how I feel about that tight end position. ACC championship or bust. I do not disagree, boxing monster.
Bitch, be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
What's going on, T? Shh about MJJ. I will not shh about nothing. What do we need for a successful season in 23? When you ask that question, I want you to be a little bit more specific when you say, what do we need? What do you mean? You mean player-wise, coaching-wise, just on-field result? Is that what you're talking about? Be a little bit more specific, VJ, and I got you on that answer. And he did sign with Battle's End, but I'm telling you, if this Marvin Jones Jr. rumor comes true, I don't know, man. There's no way. He might want to take the Udazzling hand role. Is it true? Sydney's saying, I don't know if that's true, but that would not surprise me. I'm not sure what suitors Sydney has out there, but I think that's a good move for Sydney. First of all, y'all know we need safety depth. Sydney would come back. I think he would also understand that he's not going to be a starter, but we need safeties. And then again, I'm not sure who's looking at Sydney. He might not have the options he thought. We like him over here. We've seen Sidney Williams play good football. He's battled through some injuries. We need the depth. All around, it could be a good move for Sydney just to pull his name out of the portal. This year, he's actually coaching on the Miami Dolphins. He's on the Miami Dolphin coaching staff. He will be joining Florida State after the Miami Dolphins are done in the playoffs, whenever that happens. But right now, he is a coach on the Miami Dolphins staff. More physically to develop, probably, but MJ definitely has the higher ceiling than Edmund. Absolutely, unfortunately. Yeah, like I mentioned on the last pod, Byron Turner, your name's on the chopping block. It's an unfortunate result, but this is the new age of college football. Teams no longer have to. So it used to be in the past, if you took a project and you didn't pay out, you kind of had to eat that scully. You kind of had to eat that scholarship and just, sometimes you could convince a guy to go to the portal, but more than likely than not, if a guy just didn't plan out, who's going to take him in the portal? And you can't just kick him. You can't just, without a reason, you can't just take him off scholarship. That just it doesn't work like that. In today's landscape, if you don't get with the picture, teams will still take the projects, especially if they actually believe and scouted them properly, and then they believe the project is just as good as the 4 or 5 star. Teams will still take that guy. But if he don't pan out in 2 years, max, they're finding someone better than him in the portal, more developed. Byron Turner. Your name. I'm looking at guys that are, going on their 3rd year. Byron Turner would be going on his 3rd year this year. I'm not so much worried about the Aaron Hesters because he was a true freshman. So I think they'll give Aaron Hester time. They'll give Dante Anderson time. But Byron Turner, you already said, see what happens with George Wilson. Came in the same class as Patrick Payton and Byron Turner. Byron Turner's next on the chopping block. Just Steven Dix is on the chopping block. I'm quite frankly surprised Travis Jay's even still on this team. But shout out to him. But guys of that ilk, Jackson West, Williamson, Malik McLean. Hey, man. It's just the nature of the beast. Catch up in the comments, man. He'll join Sunday at halftime because the Bills will be all over the Dolphins' ass by the first quarter. That's why Tyler keeps saying "Go Bills." I honestly didn't know who the playoff matchups were. I haven't been paying attention. I definitely cried over. I didn't quite cry over Hunter that much, but I definitely cried over the other two. Chambry's already gone, Terrence. He's already in the portal. What's going on, Randy? I think they put out a top for Lucas, which I think consisted of like a lot of West Coast teams in the mix for Anthony Lucas, sorry, from what I saw. The 5-star that's in the portal from South Carolina, I believe he ends up at Oregon. The Utah State kid, personally, I'm not as high on maybe as everybody else. That kid's built like Amari Gaynor. He 6'3", 6'4", about 230. If you couldn't figure out how to use Amari Gaynor, I'm not. Now, maybe the Utah State kids are just a better football player than Gaynor, which is possible. But if you couldn't figure out how to use Amari Gaynor as an undersized type of rush DN / linebacker, I have no faith that you know how to use the Utah State defensive end personally. So I'm not as high on him as some people are. And again, I think the other South Carolina DN, I think he's all Oregon because Dan Lanning recruited him hard when he was the defensive coordinator at Georgia. And I believe they're saying Oregon tampered with that one. And I believe that's where he goes personally. What a Irv. Quick recap. FSU continues to murder the portal. I called him Dr. Strange, the portal master. That's what Mike Norvell's new nickname should be, Dr. Strange, as far as I'm concerned. Because when it comes to the portals, who's better? And then this Patrick Surtain news, which has blown everybody away out of the blue. I forgot about Joshua Burrell, but you're right. I don't know if Burrell's back to receiver or still at the running back room. Does this hype and coaching change make 2004 class? It may very well. It may very well. VJ says, this year we beat Miami and UF. No letdown games, meaning we beat everybody we were supposed to beat. I think a successful season 23 would be double-digit wins again, beat Clemson, win the ACC. Okay, so you're asking what results would equate to a successful 23. So you pretty much answered your own question. Like, you got to beat Clemson, got to win the ACC. I mean, you're at the point. You're at the point, man, where honestly, talking about sneaking into that playoff isn't some far-fetched, delusional take anymore. You know what I mean? You know, at one point, you could have said, you guys are crazy. No. There might be real playoff expectations. And again, this roster's not done. The roster's not done. The roster's not done. The roster's not done. I don't think it's you know. Can I ask a question? Because I honestly don't know this. Cromartie McLean's from Polk County. He's played at Lake Gibson and Lakeland. Is there a relationship between Surtain and Cromartie, or are we just saying that because Patrick Surtain? What is the relationship here? Or why does Cromartie's name keep coming up linked to Patrick Surtain? I honestly don't know the answer. So if you have that answer, please let me know. I don't understand where's this link between Patrick Surtain and Cromartie McLean. We went from 5 to 6 to getting our swagger back, and y'all think we gonna act humble? Ain't no humble. Tell them, Boxing Monster. Ain't no humble. And again, if you scared, go to church. Don't even come on this channel. Don't come over here. We ain't pumping the brakes. We full throttle. Don't come over here talking about, oh, we got to slow down. Don't get over. No. We ain't slowing down. You better get to speed.
I'm in Tallahassee, I'm with the Seminoles. I've been getting to this paper, focus on my goals. Trying to run this money up and pull up in a row. All these talking gangster, that shit getting old.
It's a lot of guys at this point that's about to get lost in the sauce. We are at a point where we separate good guys, not hood guys, because I probably want to keep some of them hood guys on the team personally. That's just me, though. But hood guys from the great guys, it's go time. I think we have a couple offensive linemen. We'll hit the portal. Zane Herring. I'm with you. Zane Herring Schrader, especially if Kanaya Charlton comes along. He's taking spots. Quayshawn Sapp could take a couple, he could take a spot. Where does Jalen Early fit in this? Could take a spot. I think they like Jalen Early at tackle, but imagine if Simmons comes in and he's every bit as good as people might think he is as a freshman. Maybe you move Jalen Early to one of the guards, which I think is possible. Playoffs is my expectation. We need a safety in Dustin Hill. Good God, I can't believe this. I know y'all don't think Mike's going to go into the season without pulling the top safety in the portal. We're just waiting for him to hit. That's all. That's it. Dr. Strange is just waiting for him to hit. I don't think it's a link at all. Just, yeah. So if there's no link, I think we might want to calm down on the Cromartie talk. Okay. I think it's Bama. I don't think he ends up in Miami personally. I think it's Bama or Colorado that's got his attention. Bama seems to be surging here as of late. One of the Bama commits during one of these all-star games said they had another guy, another 5-star that just ain't announced yet. A lot of people think that might be McLean, and it might be. But if there's no link between Surtain and Cromartie, I think we probably just not entertain that personally. That's just me, though. Norvell got to tighten up in big games. He turned things around. I give him that because I ain't like him at first. But the situation football in big games got to get better. We got to beat Clemson. We got to beat Clemson for sure. Got to beat Clemson for sure. But we'll see. When you say Norvell got to tighten up in the big games, we'll see. Ingram said TVE will start accepting donations in 4-6 weeks. Get the checkbooks out, guys. We did get a real good kicker for 2024. We got a transfer portal kicker too, guys. So I think it's because our timing with Surtain higher, Cromartie picking where he going the 15th, which is 5 days later from today. That's how I see it. It's all speculation. No. Oh, I think Armella's starting at right tackle next year. So I'm not sleeping on Armella at all. At all, Nick. At all. What's going on, 904 Davis? Sapp at center. Yep. I think Early goes to center. I think Sapp at center. Early would move to guard personally. Y'all think Surtain will keep some recruits from going to Dion? We'll see. Let's see who Dion pulls first. Jeff, $10 dono. Again, my man Jeff says, we're Florida State. We're supposed to be in big dogs. No puppies. We're taking over this conference. Oh, so you mean we back to being the kings of the ACC? Well, let's win it first. But I love where you're going with it, Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Get more money. Get more money. Yeah.
Dan Squash was good with you. Realistically, do you think there was a better hire out there? I don't know. I think this is a damn good one, though. This is like when you talk like name value, right? One of the reasons why people love this damn Deion Sanders is the name value. And obviously Deion brings that level of attention with him. I know Crow's doing his thing at A&M. I don't know if Cromartie, Antonio Cromartie might have a big name in FSU circles. I'm not sure where Cromartie name would make this type of a impact. Personally, I could be wrong there. And don't get me wrong, I want Crow on this staff in some way, shape, or form. But again, what have we been asking for? South Florida ties. Who on this staff was recruiting South Florida before? Randy Shannon? Don't think Randy Shannon's the greatest recruiter. I think we value Randy more as the on-field type coach. FSU really didn't have a guy to go in South Florida like that. It was Randy, but Randy has lost his fair share of battles down there. Now that has changed. Could Crow go into South Florida like that? I'm not so sure. Maybe not like, I don't think like Pat can. I don't know if there's a better hire. Probably maybe there was from, I don't know, maybe an all-around perspective. I don't know, but there's no way you can complain about this one. Not gonna lie, I'd be sick if he went to Miami personally. And I know his daddy would be too. What's good, Kevin? I don't think that happens this year, but I would say this time next year, just be ready for it. I don't think that happens this year. I don't think it happens before the season because there's no coaching. There's no more coaching moves to make. Season's over. Season's been over except for two or four teams. Any coaching move that was going to be made would have probably been made by now. So I don't think you have to worry about Atkins going anywhere right now. This time next year, maybe. Most likely. Honestly, don't know. If you made me bet, I'd say he stays at Georgia personally. He meant chess. You know what he meant. Damn good hire. Can T-Shake need recruit South Florida? He played good press man in the NFL for 11 years. Obviously Georgia's going to have some. They already had one of their tight ends hit the portal today. Georgia's going to have some guys hit the portal for sure. Shannon is mid. I used to play open chest in elementary. This guy's dumb. Mama is the reason why he's not at a program where he would have got some burn today. Right. And at some point, you got to be a man. And at some point, man, you got to leave mama behind. Mama don't get on the field for you. Mama ain't going to get you burned. At some point, he got to leave mama and go. But we'll see what happens. Great question. Maybe somebody in the chat can answer this one. Who's the spy? Who's the mole in South Carolina? Because obviously we have somebody feeding us players at South Carolina that they're not even aware of. And somebody with some inside sources, hit me up. Let me know. I need to know. Tara, how's it going? So that was the emergency pod, man. A little emergency live stream, I'll call it. I didn't even plan on really being on here an hour. But as you can see, man, a lot of 150 plus in here. A lot of FSU fans are excited and should be. A lot of haters, rival fans are in the chat as well. They're just not saying nothing because they have nothing to say. They're out there, though. They're watching. I see you looking what you're looking at. They're mad. They mad. They mad. Believe me, they're mad. They're already trying to spin this higher as yes. And I will be doing my normal live tomorrow. Absolutely. We'll be doing the normal live tomorrow. That's FSU North. Absolutely. Yeah, for real. It's FSU North. But I didn't even plan on being on this long. So we're going to have to leave more for tomorrow, obviously. But man, y'all, again, news flash. I might even put it scrolling across the bottom of the screen so y'all understand. If you're coming over here as a Florida State fan, again, you can't see me putting the quotations up. But if you're coming over here as a Florida State fan and you with that tentative tippy toe bullshit, go somewhere else. We don't want you over here. We full throttle. We 100% go high octane, all gasoline, whatever you want to. The hype train has begun and we shooting to the damn moon. We're shooting to the moon. The expectations are through the roof. And I ain't doing nothing to temper them. Ain't none of that. We expect greatness. We expect 11 wins next year. We expect ACC next year. We expect potential playoffs next year. And we're going to act like that all off season. So again, if you're scared, man, just go to church. There's plenty of platforms out there that you can go listen to that they'll tell you, Florida State's having a good offseason, but I would just be, nope, that ain't what we doing over here. So as always, man, it's your boy Pope over here on 863 Seminole TV. This was emergency. FSU is bike. But I want y'all to stay classy. I want you to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Normal time. 8 o'clock Eastern or 8:30 Eastern. Normal time for the hangover. We probably dig into this a little more. But this was just a quick last minute thing that I was like, I got to get out here. I got to talk to the people and see what they think about what's going on in this program. Because this program's on fire right now. But y'all have a good rest of y'all night, man. I'm out here. Go Noles. And I'll see you tomorrow.